What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life to the fullest today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2023 Genesis G80 3.5T Sport Prestige. Huge thank you to Scott Lee over at Safford Genesis of Springfield, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular G80 or any Genesis or Hyundai product, I'll be sure to have Scott's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, well, like usual, first we're going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2023 Genesis G80 3.5T Sport Prestige, and you can only get the 3.5 liter turbo motor in all-wheel drive. Also, this particular one has been painted in the $1,500 Makula matte gray paint. And this is one of the coolest colors, in my opinion, that you can get on the G80 because it's matte, but it's also metallic in the direct sunlight. It's just a really beautiful and sinister paint color, really, at the end of the day. One of the first things I wanted to say also in this video is that now for 2023, you get a newly redesigned Infotainment System controller, which I'll get into when we get into the interior part of the video. Other than that, nothing's really changed, at least for the 3.5 turbo motor. Now, we're going to start with the headlights, then we'll work our way down the side into the back end of the exterior. So starting with the headlights, as standard with the Sport Prestige, you get LED headlights with high beam assist, as well as LED daytime running lights and LED turn signals. Now, taking a step back and to the left, let's take in the entire front end. This thing looks very sporty, but it also looks classy at the same time. So you may be able to see you have your Genesis logo front and center at the front end of your hood, saying this is a Genesis, and this is what you get with the Genesis. Very, very nice. Now coming down just a little bit, you do get a dark chrome mesh design front grille with your forward-facing camera located at the center of that front grille. That forward-facing camera works with your 360-degree view camera system that comes standard on the Sport Prestige. Now, coming down just a little bit, you get a satin black lower grille with those body color grille flares. So you can see those body pieces flare in nicely into your lower grille, and you can see your lower grille goes across pretty much the entire span of your lower bumper. And then you also get a gloss black trim piece at the bottom of your front bumper right here. It's kind of like a gloss black front lip kind of thing. You can see it pretty much goes all the way to both sides of your grille. Your bumper. And then you also get 6 forward-facing sensors, and I'm going to point those out now. So you get 1, that's 2, that's 3, and then you get another 3 on that side as well. And then if you were wondering about the ground clearance, you get 5.5 inches of ground clearance with the G80. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that with the Sport Prestige, you get an adaptive suspension with road preview. So basically, this vehicle can read the road ahead, and if it sees a pothole literally like right 2 seconds from hitting, it's going to loosen up the suspension. So it's basically going to soak up that bump better with that road preview system. That is a very, very nice feature, and I think BMW 7 Series also get that same feature for double the cost of this vehicle that we have here today, which is awesome. Like I said, this particular one does have the optional $6,000 Sport Prestige package. And what you get with that are these 20-inch sport alloy wheels, and they are wrapped in 245/40 in the front and 275/35 in the rear Pirelli P0 all-season tires. I'm going to give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires as best that I can there real quick. Here's another look at the design on those wheels. Definitely different, but I think I am a fan of the way that they look. And then behind all 4 of your wheels and tires, you get the optional $140 mud guards. So let's say you're going to spec one of these out yourself. You do not have to get that as an option. This particular one has been optioned with that. Now coming up just a little bit, you can see, you're like, what the heck are those? So this is your dark chrome fender trim with the signals. So these are where your turn signals are. So instead of having like turn signals on your side view mirrors, you have turn signals on both front fenders. And then also you get rain sensing wipers as standard. Working our way into our side view mirrors, you get body color mirror caps, and these side view mirrors are heated, power folding, auto dimming. You get your blind spot monitoring on the upper left hand side of your driver's side mirror and on the upper right hand side of your passenger side mirror. You also get a camera. Both of these side view cameras both work with your 360-degree view camera system. They also double as a blind spot view monitor. So basically, when you turn the turn signal on in your instrument panel, it's basically going to highlight or pop up a camera, and it's going to show you what's going on in your blind spot area. It's a pretty cool feature. So not only does that camera get used for your 360 camera system, it also for the blind spot view system. And then all the way at the bottom of your side mirrors, you get a Genesis logo puddle light. So basically, at night, it's going to illuminate this area at night, make it a little bit easier to step in and out of the vehicle, but it's also kind of a flex because you get your Genesis logo projected onto the asphalt, onto the concrete, onto the grass. Wherever you're parked, it's going to have a nice Genesis logo there at night. I think that is pretty cool. Now, I'm going to take a step back, ignore that train. The train's coming by, toot toot. This is what the side profile view looks like of the G80. So working our way into the window trim, you get dark chrome window trim as well as body color door handles with a dark chrome trim piece at the top of all four of them. You may be able to see that right now. Here's a closer view of what that looks like. These door handles are also illuminated in the front, so you get a little light right there. The rear door handles are not illuminated, I don't believe. No, they are not. And then you also get keyless access, obviously. Just put your hand behind the door handle, it will unlock, and then you can run your finger across that little box right there, and that will lock the vehicle. I don't have the key fob in my pocket, and that is why it made that interesting noise right there. And then you also get soft closed doors, which I think is awesome, especially considering the price point of this vehicle. So let's say you don't close the door all the way, it's going to bring the door in all the way, and now the door is closed. That is a very nice feature, especially on a vehicle at this price point like I just mentioned. Now, coming back a little bit more, finishing things off here at the side, you get this dark chrome belt line trim that accents not only the trim on your door handles, not only the trim for your windows, but also the trim pretty much everywhere on the exterior of the vehicle. And you can see it goes all the way back into your rear bumper back here as well. Coming up to here, you get a gloss black shark fin antenna. Coming down just a little bit, this is your fuel door. The fuel door will not open if the vehicle is locked, but if the vehicle is unlocked, then you have access to your fuel door. You can see you don't get a capless filler neck. You still got to screw that off. And by the way, premium fuel is recommended. Closing that, obviously, just like any other sedan nowadays, you get a rear window defogger. You also have your LED third brake light located up top there as well. Now I'm going to step back and I'm going to give you a rear 3/4 angle of the G80 there real quick. Again, this particular one has been optioned with the $6,000 Sport Prestige package, and that gives you rear wheel steering. So this thing turns on an absolute dime, especially considering how long the wheelbase is in this sedan. Very, very nice feature with that rear wheel steering. I highly recommend it. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is that you can see here on this quarter panel, you get those very aggressive body lines, and those lead nicely into this body line right here that kind of turns into a subtle ducktail spoiler. Here's a kind of a closer view of that. You can see it's very, very subtle, but it adds to just the sportiness of the G80, and I really, really like that. And then obviously you do get LED taillights back here, as well as a dark chrome trunk trim piece that runs the entire span of your trunk. You also have this button right here, and that is to power open your trunk. The trunk is power opening and power closing, which is very nice. Now, taking a look inside the trunk, it's a decent size amount of trunk space. However, I'd say it's roughly the same size as the G70 I just did a video with, which feels a lot smaller on the interior, but you can still fit exactly what you need to back here. A couple options that this vehicle has back here. This one has the $45 first aid kit, so that is what the first aid kit looks like. This also has the $85 wheel locks. So you get your wheel locks right there. And then last but not least, this also has the $160 cargo tray, basically a floor mat for your cargo area. You get a little net right here. You can set whatever you need to, maybe jumper cables, keeping those from going around. You get another one of those on this side as well. And then with the matte paint, you get a matte paint care kit. I didn't see this come as a charge, other than maybe the paint color comes with this, because I didn't see that as an option, that care kit. And then underneath all of this stuff, you have your spare tire. It is gloss black, and you get everything that you need if you end up getting a flat tire on the road. I hope you don't. And then up here, pressing on that button is going to close the trunk, and then that is going to lock the vehicle. But pressing on that, the trunk is closing. That is real-time speed of what the trunk looks like when it is closing. And then underneath the button to open up your trunk, you get a backup camera. You get chrome trunk badging back here with your Genesis, your G80, and your four-wheel drive badging. Taking a step back, we're going to take in the entire rear end of the vehicle. So you can see you get 2 reflectors back here, as well as another 6 parking sensors, which I'll point out to you now. So you get 1, that's 2, 3, and then you get another 3 in the same place on that side as well. And then you get obviously a dual exhaust system that you can see on screen right now. Your reverse lights are mounted down here where my pointer finger and my pinky finger are both pointing. And then last but not least, you also do get a gloss black rear valance, which is what this piece is right here. That's kind of a closer look at what that looks like. And that's kind of about it for the exterior of the G80. Let me know what you think of this vehicle in the comments down below. You can see she's a big girl. However, it doesn't drive like a big vehicle, because when you're pulling into a tight parking space, at least with the Sport Prestige package, it gives you that rear wheel steering. So this thing can turn on a dime, makes it very easy to maneuver in parking spaces, maneuver in tight parking situations. Very, very nice. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 that makes 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 4.7 seconds. If you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 16 miles per gallon in the city, 25 miles per gallon on the highway, for 19 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. Now, considering the size of this vehicle, it's a pretty big sedan. So I would say those fuel economy numbers, now the city number is I think the highway number is pretty dang good. And I think you'll probably see, between a mix of city and highway driving, probably about 20 miles per gallon. So if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. So if you've taken anything from this video, if you've enjoyed this video in any sort of capacity, please take a second, give it a thumbs up, maybe leave it a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Again, all that stuff looks really good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and I'd really appreciate it. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. All right, now moving on into the interior, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you got to do is walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by running your finger across that little square box right there, and now the vehicle is locked. But there were a couple cool things that you can do with this key fob. So if you press the lock button twice and then press and hold on the unlock button, all of your windows will roll down. Give it a second. Now all the windows are rolling down. Now another really cool feature that you can do with the G80 is that you press the lock button, press and hold on the button to the next or to the left or to the right of that. The vehicle will fire up, and then you can move the vehicle forward and backward with these 2 functions. So I'm going to press and hold on this button. Watch what happens. I'm not sitting in there, obviously, and you can see. Now it's running away. See a car. And then as soon as I let off, it stops. But I can also back it up as well. Watch. Now it's backing up. That is such a cool feature. And then if you get right behind it, let's say, because why not? It's gonna stop and it's not gonna hit you. So very, very cool feature. Let's say you go to Costco and you got, no room because the car next to you pulled very, very close. You just pull it right out of a spot by the push of this button on your key fob. Makes it very, very easy. It's like you're walking a dog, and then you just stop it when you need to, and then you can get in. Very, very cool feature. Never seen that on any other vehicle. And honestly, I could see how you could make very good use of that feature, to be honest. But I do want to show you what the driver's side door panel has to offer, so you may be able to tell. Very beautiful looking door panel. So with the $6,000 Sport Prestige package, you get Napa leather seating surfaces as well as the carbon fiber trim. So you can see carbon fiber trim. You get some vinyl wrapping at the top of your door panel. You get a satin chrome looking door handle. 2 memory seat adjustment settings, speaker surround, side view mirror controls here. Pressing on that button is going to power fold in your side view mirrors. Automatic up and down windows at all 4 corners. That is going to restrict your passenger window privileges, and that is also going to lock the access for the second row passengers, so they're not going to be able to open up the doors when that light is illuminated. But you can still open up the doors from the exterior. You just cannot open up the doors here from the interior. That's basically your child lock. And then coming down a little bit more, good amount of miscellaneous storage space at the bottom of your door panel. Now, you can see that we get this beautiful red interior. This is called Sevilla red Napa leather, and you get that Sevilla red Napa leather on your door panel as well as the beautiful Lexicon speaker surround right here. I had never heard of the Lexicon sound system until today, and I gotta say, it sounds awesome. The bass is great, the clarity is great, and the volume all the way up is perfect. I could, you know, still be listening to music loud even at like 75 miles an hour with all the windows down. So that is a plus in my book. Then you get this brushed aluminum Genesis door sill. You get a power adjustable front driver's seat as well as a power adjustable front passenger seat as well. Now another thing, the driver's seat, they call it like ergo, but it's basically a massaging driver's seat. The front passenger seat is not massaging, but you can see you also get a thigh extension right here. So when I click on that, you can see that thigh extension is coming out. You can also bring that thigh extension back down just like that. And then pressing on that button right there is for your massaging seat function. And then obviously you also get lumbar functions as well. But stepping on into the interior, you get keyless access. That also means you get push button start. Just make sure you have your key fob in the interior, push your foot on the brake, and then push to start. And that is what it sounds like when it fires up. I'm gonna close that door real quick. Actually, before I do that, also with the Sport Prestige, you get these sport aluminum pedals with the rubber gripping. That's a closer look at that. I'm gonna turn the HVAC system off so you get better sound of what I am saying. But now, basically, we're gonna start over here, then we'll work our way through the dash and then into those rear seats. So, pressing on that button is going to dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. That's going to brighten your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. That is going to turn your auto stop start system on or off. That is to turn your traction control system on or off. That is to power open and or power close your trunk. And then that is your emergency brake. Pull it to engage it. If you want to disengage it, you have to push your foot on the brake, push against it, and then the parking brake will disengage. You also get a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And what I mean by that is that if you pull that, the steering wheel will come towards you. If you push that, the steering wheel will go away from you. And you can move the steering wheel up and you can move the steering wheel down, all controlled by this little control right here. Zooming back out, I do want to show you what the turn signal sounds like. So let's take a listen to that. That is what the turn signal sounds like on the 2023 G80. Now, not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your headlight control stock and your high beam control stock. You do, like I said, get automatic high beams, but twisting this all the way down, that's headlights off. That's headlights in the automatic position. I like how it illuminates what positioning it is on. That is parking lights on, and then all the way up is headlights in the always on position. And that's kind of about it for that stock. And then on the right hand side of the steering column, you have your windshield wiper control stock. Like I mentioned, you do get rain sensing wipers as standard. Zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel, red accent colored stitching on the inside of the steering wheel, and just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to what the horn sounds like. That is what the horn sounds like on the G80. Now, you may be able to see you also get steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, downshift paddle on the left hand side, upshift paddle on the right hand side, and then you can see you also get that red stitching on your horn and airbag as well. Coming over to here, you have the button to speak to the vehicle. This is going to pop up your phone on your infotainment system. Then this is your volume control. You can hear the volume going up. And then one thing that I found interesting is that when you push up, that's actually to go back on a track. And then if you push down, that is to go forward on a track. So it's kind of opposite of what you would think. But anyways, that's just what it is. And then one thing that I've found I really like about Hyundai and Genesis products is that they have this mode button and this favorite star. So basically, when you click this mode button, it's going to bring you into this screen, and it's going to let you set up what you want that mode button to do. So you have to select only one of these, but you can either press that mode button and it will bring you directly to your Bluetooth audio. It'll bring you directly into sounds of nature, phone projection, any of these things you can choose, and it will go directly to that when you click on that mode button. Right now it is not set up, that's why it brings me into this screen. But then this is basically the same kind of idea, except it brings you into a couple different options. So it's different options than the mode button. So you can basically reject or end a call. You can go to privacy mode, change hands-free calling device. You can go to the home page. You can go to the map. You can cancel a route. You can go into the radio, media, turn it like off. That can be like your mute button essentially. Right now you can see it's set to none, but again, you can choose from any of these different functions. So whenever you click that button, it will do exactly whichever one of those you know, options you select. Very, very cool. And I like how you have 2 buttons on the steering wheel that you can basically set as what you want. Very, very nice. And then coming over to here, you do get smart cruise control with stop and go. It's basically a semi-autonomous driving system. So it will keep you in the lane on the highway, and it basically will steer itself, but you do have to pay attention, and you might have to, you know, steer every now and then just to, you know, let the vehicle know that you're paying attention. But anyways, that's what that button does, that button does, that button does, and that button does. All those buttons there are for that system. And then to the left of that, you have these 2 buttons here. Basically, when you click on these buttons, that basically is going to display some different information on your 12.3-inch 3D digital gauge cluster. So when I first got into this vehicle, it took me a second. I was like, whoa, that kind of feels weird, because it feels like it's 3D. Like literally, it looks and feels 3D. Not feels, but it looks 3D. But anyways, you can control what you see by pressing on this button here. So clicking on that, you can go in between these different drive information things. So now I can scroll down using this scroll knob. So I can go into drive info, accumulated info. I can press and hold on that, and that's going to reset those figures to 0. And then coming down one more, you got your attention level, tire pressure stuff, oil temperature, the amount of torque that's being used, the amount of turbo PSI, and then coming down, you can select contents. Basically, you can go into head-up display stuff, driver assistance settings, 3D cluster stuff. So basically, whatever you want to set on that screen, you can. Back out of that, kind of about it for that configurability on the screen. Now, on the left-hand side, you can see, get your speedometer. On the right-hand side, you have your tachometer. You also have your coolant temperature gauge, and then on the left-hand side, you have your fuel gauge and your fuel range. Ambient exterior temperature, that is like headlight stuff up top there, transmission status, speed limit sign, and then this is basically like your instant fuel economy. That is like your average fuel economy on this trip. And then over here is your odometer. One thing that's interesting though, and I like, is that you have this drive mode button right here. And when you click between your different drive modes, the gauges change. So you can see now that looks a little bit sportier. Sport Plus mode, same thing. And then custom mode, that's what custom mode looks like. And you can set custom mode, you know, exactly, you know, how you want it to be. Other than that, kind of about it for that gauge cluster. Coming up a little bit, with the Sport Prestige package, you get a head-up display system. So this is the head-up display. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on camera, but anyways, that's the digital speedometer readout right now. And then over to the left, I'm not sure if I can pick it up on camera, that is the digital speedometer readout. So basically the current speed that we are going. And kind of about it for what we got going on there. Up top here, you get some leather wrapping. It actually feels like genuine leather. It doesn't feel like a vinyl. I can't confirm nor deny that. It could be a leatherette material. Not 100% sure on that. But then working our way over to here, you get this massive 14.5-inch infotainment system with built-in navigation and wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. And in my opinion, on a 2023 vehicle that is supposed to be a premium brand, you have to have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. I think that is a big mistake. I don't know why they don't have wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, but again, I think that's a mistake. I think that if this is going to be your premium brand, you have to have the wireless CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto. So if anybody from Genesis is watching this video, come on. But back into the screen itself is very, very intuitive. And now new for 2023, you now get this new infotainment system controller. And this is awesome because it reminds me of the Cadillac Q system with the physical control down here. So you can either control the screen with this thing here, or you can also control the screen by the touch. So very, very nice. This is what the home screen looks like. Swiping over, you have all these different things that you can go into. Phone projection, again, this is basically saying you don't have wired or wireless CarPlay. This is another screen. You can bring up your climate control stuff on that screen if you wanted to as well. I'm going to turn it on so you can see kind of what it looks like. That's what the climate control system looks like when it is on. Back out of that, you can have you have a home button down here, and then you also have a home button on the screen as well. One thing that I really like about this screen is, let's say, you know, you want to go into your settings, right? you can go into your settings, but then you're like, I don't know where like the head-up display settings would be. You can go into here and you can type in head-up display and it'll pop up right there. So it's very easy to use, guys. Very, very easy to use, and I love it. Very, again, intuitive, which is awesome, and I always appreciate an intuitive, you know, infotainment system. It makes things very easy. Then that's the time. That is the date. That's your home button up top there. This is your menu button. Basically, you can go and turn the display off if you wanted to. Touch anywhere back on the display and it'll pop right back on. I could spend more time on this display, but I really don't want to spend too much time because that would make this video very long. Just know, very, very easy to use system, and you also have this physical control down here. So when you're driving down the highway, it makes things very easy. Let's say you wanted to go into climate, all you got to do, push down on that and it will bring you into the climate screen. Then you also have your home button down here. It'll bring you in your home screen. Again, very, very easy to use. Come down a little bit, you get these two HVAC vents. You get your push button start button here. You got your hazard button there. All this carbon fiber trim comes a part of the Sport Prestige package. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get these redundant physical buttons, so you can go directly into your map, you can go directly into your point of interest stuff, you can go directly into your radio, you can go directly into your media. And then this is another one of those buttons that I said, like one of these configurable buttons. You can see this star is shaded in, this star is not shaded in. So basically you can control or make that button whatever you want to, but you can choose from these controls here. Sorry, I just accidentally clicked the 360 camera button. I'm gonna go back over here. So you can control or go into any of these functions. Again, you just gotta select one of these, and then that is what that button will do. Very, very cool. And then pressing on that button will bring you into your setup for your vehicle, navigation, sound, all those different things. But back out of that, this is what your climate control stack looks like. This is a tri-zone climate control vehicle, so the rear passengers have their own climate control as well. I really like this little screen here. It kind of reminds me of what you'd find in like a BMW. So essentially, it's a capacitive touch thing. So whenever I'm bringing that up, it's giving me a little bit of feedback, like a vibration, so I can feel it go in between these different levels. Very, very awesome. Really like that. And then you also have a physical off button right there. And I also like how it displays the temperatures in those two circles as well. Heated and ventilated front seats, both with 3 levels of adjustability. You also get a heated steering wheel with 2 levels of adjustability. And then coming down just a little bit more, you do get a wireless charging pad down in there, as you may be able to see right there. That's a USB-A port. That's another USB-A port. And then I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and we're gonna see if it fits down in there. So you can see my iPhone fits down in there. I don't know if it is charging, but I do know that it is. It does fit down in there. This is your volume control knob. And then to the right of that, this is your tuning control knob. This is your back button for your infotainment system. This is your home button for your infotainment system. And then this is your menu button for your infotainment system. Brings up that. That's your home button again, brings you into your home screen. And then this is again for your infotainment system. This is your auto hold feature. So let's say you're stuck in traffic, tired of holding your foot down on your brake by yourself. If you press that button and then that button is engaged, it will let you know up here, and basically the vehicle will hold itself in place on its own with its braking system when that button is activated. And then this is your gear shift selector. Twist to the right to go into drive, twist to the left to go into reverse, twist like 1 time to go into neutral, and then push P to go into park. We're pushing P. And then coming over a little bit, again, I already walked you through this, but you got a few different drive modes. You got comfort mode, sport plus mode, and custom mode. I'm gonna leave it in comfort for the time being. The button to the right of that is your camera function. So when you press that, it's gonna pop up your 360-degree view camera system. The camera system is very, very clear. I love it. And you can see right now I have my mirrors tilted in. So now that is what your 360 camera system looks like. Again, very, very clear cameras, and that's something that I appreciate. And then this is to turn your parking sensors on or off. So let's say you get close to an object and your car's going beep, 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 beep. You can turn those beeps off essentially by pressing on that button. Again, all this carbon fiber trim comes a part of the Sport Prestige. 2 cup holders. Closing that, you get basically that carbon fiber trim there again. Get the beautiful Sevilla red Napa leather here for your armrest. You got a little button right here. If you press on that button, both of these will open up. Get a little bit of miscellaneous storage space down in there. Again, iPhone 14 Pro Max for size reference. You can see it fits down in there with a little, or quite a bit of wiggle room actually. And then you also get a 12-volt power outlet down in there. And then you also, again, get this divider that I just took out. Very nicely padded armrest, feels very premium. Then you get a lockable lower glove box. You can see your owner's manual and all that kind of stuff is in there at the moment, and you can fit your napkins, you can fit your straws, you can fit all the essentials in there. But closing that back up, that's like a red plastic type of material. This is what your passenger seat looks like. Pretty cool is that either the rear passenger or I, excuse me, I guess, would be able to move this seat forward by the push of that button. So the seat is, you know, going forward, and you can bring the seat backwards. And then you can also bring the top of the seat up, or you can recline it. So very, very cool. I like how you can control all that from here. The G70 was the same exact way. And then you get a frameless auto dimming rear view mirror with your Homelink on the bottom. Again, essentially what Homelink is a universal garage door opener, and you have 3 different buttons to open up 3 individual garage doors. Clicking on this, get a spot you could set a taco. Just kidding. This is where you would put your sunglasses. And then clicking on this button right here, that is basically like OnStar basically for a Genesis. It's basically like you can unlock the vehicle with that function and stuff like that. And then that is your roadside assistance button. This is your instant dome light button. It's going to turn on all the interior dome lights. And then you also get a power rear shade. So that is what this button does right here. If you press on that, that rear shade will go down or it will come up depending on if it is down or up. And then this is basically your setting if you want the lights to turn on when you open up the doors or not. You get a panoramic roof. This is what the roof looks like. This is what the roof looks like when it opens up. I'm gonna open it up, see how far it goes when it is open. So that's as far as it goes. Does it go back anymore? No, it does not. And then this also does tilt up, which I'll show you once it closes back up. If you wanted to tilt it up, all you gotta do is push up on that, and now the sunroof is tilted. Kind of about it for what we got going on over there. With the Sport Prestige, you do get a suede headliner, so you get suede on your pillars. You get the suede headliner. It feels very, very premium. You get this massive vanity mirror, which is awesome. I love it. And then you also get a vanity light. Get a spot you could set some paper products or stuff like that. And then this visor also slides forwards and backwards dependent on where the sun is shining. OPU panel over here for the driver. Passenger obviously also gets an OPU panel as well. Visor, same thing on that side. And really, that's kind of about it for what we got going on up here at the front. I did want to highlight a couple things that you get with the Sport Prestige, 6,000 bucks by the way. You get the Napa leather seating, you get the suede headliner, you get the carbon fiber trim, you get the 12.3 inch 3D digital gauge cluster, the head-up display, the remote smart parking assist. I walked you through that with the key fob. And then you get parking collision avoidance assistant for when you're backing up. And then you also get forward attention warning and everything else that you can see on screen. Now, a couple things I wanted to highlight that you get as standard. You get the Lexicon premium audio system. That sounds awesome. 360 degree view camera system, the panoramic roof, the massaging driver's seat, heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, the heated second row seats. You get the power rear shade, the wireless charging pad, and a tri-zone climate control system. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You guys can take a look at the warranty stuff, the optional stuff, the standard stuff. But basically I am just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2023 Genesis G80 3.5T Sport Prestige is spec'd is $74,805. And in my opinion, I think this is a bargain considering what you get. Very, very nice sedan, excuse me, second time I've done that. Very, very comfortable driving. It's got good get up and go, very comfortable seating. You get the massaging seats. I mean, $74,000. I think this is a steal. But I do want to show you what we got going on in these rear seats before we move into the driving portion of the video. So, taking a look at what we got going on back here, you, like I said, get this shade. So you can bring that shade all the way up and then you can leave that up. That's as far as the windows go down back here. You get your beautiful speaker surrounds, nicely padded armrest. That's as far again as the window goes down. Automatic up and down windows back here. Get your unlock and your lock functions back here as well. A little bit of miscellaneous storage space. You get this Genesis door sill that is brushed aluminum. And then this is what your rear seats look like. Very, very nice. And they are also very, very comfortable as well. Now, like I said in the video I did with the G70, very, very comfortable seating back here. And I also like the seating position because it's not like other sedans where you sit up high. You're actually sitting like in the vehicle, which is something that I personally like. But anyways, up top here, you get an O-Poop panel, you get a dome light, and a spot you could set your dry cleaning. Same thing for this side as well. Seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. Again, this is your tri-zone climate control system. That's what it looks like when it's on. You get 2 HVAC vents there. You can see I am adjusted behind myself and I am 5'9". I've got quite a bit of knee room, quite a bit of leg room. Here's another view of that knee and leg room. And then also when it comes to headroom, I probably have another 3 or 4 inches left over of headroom as well. 5'9" again. Really kind of about it for what we got going on back here, besides this center fold down armrest, which is very important to point out in my opinion, because you get 2 cup holders here, and then you also get your heated seat buttons here, both with 3 levels of adjustability. Pressing on that is going to pop open the shade. You can also drop that shade by that same button as well. Nicely padded center fold down armrest with that beautiful Napa leather. And then opening this up, you get 2 illuminated USB-A ports and a spot you could set a phone down in there. Very, very comfortable second row seats back here. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. Train. All right, we're pretty much through the traffic. Acceleration, low end torque is great. And I also like the sound of the motor, but I like how Genesis incorporated a good amount of sound deadening so you don't get too much engine noise. Listen, you just get the nice engine noise. Now there is a little bit of body roll, you know, this is a bigger SUV, and the sensation of a vehicle with rear wheel steering is interesting. Floored. Good acceleration considering the size of the vehicle. You know, if you want a little bit more get up and go, then you might want to look at the G70. That's more of like a, you know, sporty oriented SUV. This isn't so much, you know, a sporty, or not an SUV, I keep saying that, a sporty sedan. This is more of a luxury sedan, but it does have the power needed to get it up and going, which is awesome, and that's something that I definitely like. It's definitely got good cruising power, it's got good passing power, and when you throw it into sport mode, obviously you get better throttle response, quicker shifts and stuff like that. So and then it also tightens up the steering wheel and the suspension as well. But I like to leave it in comfort mode because, you know, this is a big sedan, so you want to, you know, be comfortable in a sedan like this, and that is definitely why I would probably leave it in comfort mode the most of the time if this was mine, especially if I was going to be using this as a daily driver. You know, I want to be as comfortable as possible commuting from work to school, stuff like that, whatever it may be. So yeah, I gotta say, comfort mode makes the ride very, very nice. Now I'm going to show you what it sounds like at about 45 miles an hour. Take a listen. It does an amazing job soaking up bumps. As soon as I was said I was going to be quiet, I hit a pothole or a manhole, and I was astonished at how well it soaked up the bump. Here's another one. It just soaks it up so well, like you almost can't even feel it. Here's another one. You almost can't even feel the bumps, and I'm literally like going out of my way just so I can try to hit them, and you can't feel them, and that is awesome, and that is very BMW, Mercedes like when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I am a big fan of this suspension, especially, you know, what this vehicle is built for. It's built for comfort, and it is a very, very comfortable riding sedan for sure. And it's got great low end power. You know, top end power, it's good enough. You know what I mean? It's slightly above good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not great, but it's good. It's in between good and great, I would say, the top end power. You know, again, this isn't a sporty sedan. It's not supposed to be a sporty sedan. This is supposed to be a comfortable sedan with good pickup, and that's pretty much exactly what it is. Again, if you want a little bit more of a sporty feeling sedan, then you might want to look at getting the G70 because it definitely feels more sporty. It definitely handles better. But if you're looking for something that's comfortable but also has good getup, and just has more space than, you know, your normal like smaller sedan, then I would definitely recommend looking into getting the G80, or at least, you know, take a look at it, take one for a test drive, and I think you'll really realize just how comfortable it is, how great, not good or great, the getup is, in between good and great. The low end, again, it's great, and it feels really powerful because when you get on it, it squats in the back, so it gives you that sensation of, you know, good or goodish, greatish, goodish, whatever power. And I'm going to test the turning radius here, so we're going to see how tight this thing turns. And this thing, I can tell you for a fact, turns, the turning radius is less on this than it was on the G70, because the G70 did not have the rear wheel steering, and the rear wheel steering makes a massive difference when it comes to the turning radius. So awesome sedan here, very you know, comfortable, and just would make for a great daily driver. Here's a full throttle acceleration. Actually, you know what, after getting on it right there, from like whatever speed I started at to, you know, about 55 miles an hour, that was pretty great acceleration. Considering the size of the vehicle, that was a great acceleration. So overall, very comfortable vehicle with great getup. Very quiet here on the interior. I'm getting a massage as we speak. I was getting a massage in traffic. So very nice SUV for under $75,000. Honestly, you know, BMW sells something like this. Obviously, it's a little bit nicer, but it's like $115,000, $120,000. So this is a very good value if you are looking for, you know, a luxury sedan, but you don't want to spend, you know, $100,000. For $75,000, very nice. And if you are interested in this particular one, I'll be sure to have Scott's information in the description box down below. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. So if you enjoyed this video in any sort of capacity, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. But like I said, that's it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.